Pandavaschaiva Kim Akaruta Sanjaya. O Sanjaya, after my sons and sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage Kurukshetra for fighting, what did they do?
O king, after looking over the army arranged in the military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words.
O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Here in this army are many heroic women, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Great fighters like Duryodhana, Virat and Drupada. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited.
Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. After that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot, drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells.
O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight, and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra.
O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of armies of both parties.
Just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here.
My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling and my hair standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my head and my skin is burning. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. Oh Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield.
Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows, sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. Seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudan Krishna spoke the following words.
My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They do not lead to higher planets, but to infamy. Give up such petty weakness of the heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy.
O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma, Drona, who are worthy of my worship? It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything will be tainted with blood. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me, Govinda. I shall not fight.
While speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. So fight, O descendant of Bharata, as a person put on new garments, giving up the old ones. The soul similarly accepts new material body, giving up the old and useless ones. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. The soul is invincible, inconceivable, immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, some hear about him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know there is no better engagement for you than fighting for religious principles, so there is no need for hesitation. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. In the mind of those who are too attached to sense gratification and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such a change, the resolute determination for devotional service does not take place. The Vedas deal mainly with the three subjects, with the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties of grief and safety, and be established in the self. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all purposes of the Vedas can be served at once who know the purpose behind them. Abandon all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga.
O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? How does he walk?
O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties for sense, desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as a turtle draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense object remains. But ceasing such engagement, by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. The senses are so strong and impetus, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops. From lust, anger arises. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. One who is not conscious of me can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires.
Oh Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? If you think intelligence is better than fruitive work, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me.
O sinless Arjuna, there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical, philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. One who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. In this way, you will always remain free from bondage. My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. Whatever standards he set by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature.
O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force?
It is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material modes of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is all-devouring sinful enemy of the world. As fire is covered with smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of this lust. Thus, the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living beings, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Wherever and whenever there is a decline in religious practices and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving this body, take birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. The doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight.
O Krishna, first of all you asked me to renounce work. And then, again, you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial for me?
The renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, the work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. One who works in devotion is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater. An intelligent person does not take part in sources of misery which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, Such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so a wise man does not delight in them. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is a friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. For him who has conquered his mind, the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, the mind will remain the greatest enemy. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me.
The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and it's very strong. Oh Krishna, and to subdue it, I think is more difficult than controlling the wind.
O mighty son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment.
Oh Krishna, what is the destination of unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes the process of self-realization with faith, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness?
A transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Of all yogis, one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who achieve perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 constitute my separated material energies. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mine which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. This divine energy of mine, consisting of 3 modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know me that I am unborn and infallible. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, where a repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secret. It is the pure knowledge, and because it gives direct perception to the self, by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is performed joyfully. This material nature, which is one of my energy, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and immoving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and destroyed again and again. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that be. Always chanting my glories endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings, and those who worship me will live with me. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, I will accept it. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulence, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give understanding by which they can come to me. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons. O Lord, I can understand personality. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulence by which you pervade all these worlds.
I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Among the stars, I am the moon. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. And of the senses, I am the mind. And of mountains, I am Meru. Of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names. And of all immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Surabhi. Among subduers, I am time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapon, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. For what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
By my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about this most confidential spiritual subject, my illusion has now been dispelled. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal form.
My dear Arjuna, O son of Pratha, now see my opulences, hundreds of thousands of very divine and multicolored forms. O Arjuna, this universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. I give you divine eyes, behold my mystic opulence.
I am bewildered and astonished. My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents. O Lord of the Lords, I cannot keep my balance seeing your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. I am bewildered.
Time I am, the great destroyer of the world, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain.
You are...
Okay, after hearing this word from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice.
You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again and yet again, thinking of you as my friend. I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive me. I may have done in madness or in love. After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead. O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe.
My dear Arjuna, happily have I shown you by my internal potency this supreme universal form. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence. You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire.
Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displaced his real four-arm form and at last showed his two-arm form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna.
O Janardana, seeing this human-like form so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind, and I am restored in my original nature.
The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding.
Which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahmanas, the unmanifested?
Those who fix their minds on my personal form are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And one is in full consciousness of me. By such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. In all activities, just depend upon me. Work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness and act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, prepared to act according to your instruction.
Yay! Thus have I heard the conversation of the great souls Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. O King, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure, being thrilled at every moment. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama,